Zuko is arguably one of, if not the best written character in Avatar The Last Airbender. From banished prince to Fire Lord who saves the world alongside the Avatar, it's captivating. And I believe it comes down to one thing. He has a compelling character arc. A character arc is simply a distilled summary of the journey a character goes over through the course of a story. The reason this matters is that a compelling character arc creates emotional resonance with the audience. In fiction, there's characters who are purely good and characters who are purely evil. But for us, life isn't that black and white. People are complex and have desires that sometimes cause conflict with themselves and the world that they live in. So when we see a character that mirrors that, we connect with said character. In order to dissect this, we will be discussing one of the 4 character arcs your character can go through in an effort to make them more compelling. The positive change arc. In her book Creating Character Arcs, K.M. Whelan states that the positive change arc is all about the lie the character believes. The character is harboring some deeply held misconception about either himself, the world, or both. Establishing the lie your character believes is the first step in crafting an effective, positive change arc, as your character must ultimately discover a truth that counteracts this lie if they are to transform their identity for the better. This is done miraculously with Zuko. He starts the series believing that he is a man without honor, he needs his father's approval, and capturing the Avatar is the key to all of this, and nothing is more important than that. In order to fully transform your character using the positive change arc, your character must go through 10 story beats. Story beats are moments that propel the story forward and compel the viewer to take stock of what could happen next. Now that we all understand this, let's get into it. Beat 1. The hook. The first major scene in a positive change arc showcases who your character is in their everyday environment and introduces how the lie that they believe impacts their daily life, creating a conflict within themselves and with others. In order to regain his honor and father's love, Zuko has become obsessed and is traveling the world looking for the Avatar. This has made him bitter and cold, going as far as willing to sacrifice women and children if it means capturing Aang. In this scene, it perfectly establishes that our protagonist values his honor so much that lives pale in comparison to his goals. Beat 2. The Inciting Incident. Shortly after the hook, an unexpected event occurs that introduces a change in your character's life. This change will either challenge your character's lie or introduce them to some element of the truth. In most cases, your character will hesitate to accept this change. Book 1, Episode 7. Uncle Iroh has been captured. The Earth Kingdom warriors are delighting in the capture of the Dragon of the West. However, Zuko is hot on their trails. As he starts catching up, he notices Aang pass by. Zuko has to choose his uncle's life or the immediate capture of the Avatar. In a move contrary to the established narrative, Zuko chooses his uncle and challenges the notion that capturing the Avatar is the most important thing to him. B3. The first plot point. Not long after the inciting incident, another expected event forces or prompts your character to face this conflict. Book 1, Episode 12. The Storm. Zuko is back on the Avatar's tail. However, there's a storm brewing, which is a threat to the lives of everyone on his ship. Avoiding Uncle Iroh's words of caution, he declares that the capture of the Avatar outweighs the safety of his entire crew.
Finding the Avatar is far more important than any individual's safety.
A few moments pass and they are caught in a storm. With the ship severely damaged as a result of a lightning strike, just as Uncle Iroh feared, all the crewmen's lives are in danger. The helmsman's life being in a more precarious situation, Zuko eventually goes out of his way to save him and immediately has to deal with Aang being within his reach. But in this moment is where the magic happens. Zuko chooses to prioritize the safety of his men over capturing the Avatar.
Let him go. We need to get this ship to safety.
Beat 4. A series of defensive conflicts. Before the midpoint of your positive change arc, your character will strive to fulfill the goal while encountering a series of conflicts that highlight the flaws of their lie or hint at the benefits of accepting the truth. However, at this point, your character isn't yet willing to reject their lie and so reacts defensively, often hurting others and drowning deeper in their internal conflict. After attempting to save Aang from the Fire Nation as the Blue Spirit, Zuko takes an arrow to the face. Aang saves him, and in a great act of foreshadowing, Aang asks,
If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends too?
Episode 1 of Book 2. Uncle Iroh challenges the notion that his father wants him back, and Zuko doesn't want to hear it. The same episode, Uncle Iroh's suspicions are confirmed when Azula betrays him, and Zuko has to deal with this speech.
And he considers you a miserable failure for not finding the Avatar. Why would he want you back home, except to lock you up where you can no longer embarrass him?
The episode culminates in them cutting off their top knot to symbolize their rejection of their homeland. From his encounter with Hope's parents, spending time with Lee, coming close to losing his uncle, and Uncle Iroh teaching him about balance, all these events show Zuko that there's more to life than the pursuit of the Avatar. Beat 5, the midpoint. Roughly halfway through your positive change arc, a major conflict occurs that forces your character to confront the truth. Zuko is finally living somewhat of a normal life, and when Aang is handing out Appa's missing posters, things change. He realizes that the Avatar is in passing sight, and the goal that has plagued his life is once again within his reach. He dons the mantle of the Blue Spirit and attempts to steal Appa. Close to his goal, Uncle Iroh appears and makes him question everything.
I know my own destiny, Uncle.
Is it your own destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has tried to force on you?
Stop it, Uncle. I have to do this.
In this moment, Zuko seemingly rejects the lie he has told himself and chooses good. Beat 6. A series of transformative events. Having at last seen the light of the truth, your character will experience a sequence of events in which they further see how the truth can benefit their life. As a result, they allow the truth to shape their words, deeds, and identity. However, at this point, your character still hasn't fully relinquished their lie. This is illustrated when Zuko is dealing with the red and blue dragons, representing the lie he has told himself and the truth he must accept. As a result, his personality also does a 180, and when Azula captures him, he makes up with Katara. Beat 7, the false victory. Shortly before the climax of your positive change arc, an event occurs that presents your character with the opportunity to finally seize the goal associated with their lie. Your character believes they can have the best of both worlds, the goal associated with their lie and the effects of the truth, and so foolishly chooses to fulfill their goal. Avatar stands before him, and Azula is overwhelmed and asks for his help. It's finally here, his honor and Dad's approval. All he has to do is side with Azula. In a moment that disappoints a lot of the fans and his uncle, he chooses the lie and launches a barrage of fire attacks at Aang, eventually leading to Aang's defeat and assumed death. Beat 8, the third plot point. Having chosen to embrace their goal, your character believes they've made the right decision. However, this false victory doesn't last long. Soon, an event brings your character to the startling realization that embracing their goal has come at the cost of the benefits of the truth. Suddenly, your character sees the lie with devastating clarity and at last chooses to reject this lie once and for all. This is illustrated when Zuko talks to his uncle and admits he's not happy. Zuko admitting he's angry at himself around the fire with Azula, Ty Lee, and May, and Zuko finds out that he is a descendant of the former Avatar. Beat 9, the climactic sequence. The climactic sequence of an arc is the moment at which its central conflict is resolved. In a positive change arc, this moment is where they fully embrace their truth and take decisive action. The day of Black Sun. Aang and the small battalion are invading the Fire Nation. Zuko confronts his father and in a glorious speech tells him that he is leaving the Fire Nation and will help the Avatar stop him. After telling his father how terrible of a dad he has been and that he now believes he no longer needs his approval, he attempts to free his uncle and join the Avatar. Beat 10, the resolution. Having embraced their truth once and for all, your character's internal arc now comes to a close. Your character makes amends for the damage they've caused when clinging to their lie and takes steps to ensure truth now guides them in their life moving forward. After the failed attack on the Fire Nation, he follows Aang and the gang and meets up with them in an effort to apologize. He goes on to become Aang's firebending teacher. goes on a mission with Sokka to rescue Suki and his father, helps Katara find the man who killed her parents and deal with the weight of that loss. In a moment of great humility, he turns to Ba Sing Se and apologizes to his uncle. And finally, he returns to the Fire Nation with the help of Katara, defeats Azula right after he sacrifices himself to defend her. All these moments represent an internal conflict within Zuko, and it takes us on an emotional roller coaster that eventually gives Zuko emotional resonance. Zuko goes from a protagonist to a complex human being with greater character and intrigue. Even if you don't agree with him and his actions, you can see how he got there, and in some cases, agree with him. This has been the Positive Change arc of Zuko. Thanks for watching.